Fuck him anyway.
Dr.
Meriden,
Cox.
Connecticut. All right, there you go.
Dr. Adam Cox is calling in any moment now. His book is called No Mind Left Behind. This is something that our listeners are very, very interested in.
Are they?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
It's a fine book and has a lot of tips for your children. Let's say hi to Dr. Cox right now on the Opie and Anthony Show. Dr. Cox.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Welcome to the Opie and Anthony Show.
Hey, I'm glad to be with you guys.
Yeah, we see that your book is called No Mind Left Behind.
Right.
What would you say the basic gist of the book is?
The basic gist of the book is that there are millions of kids being diagnosed with what's called ADHD, which is almost a very outdated concept.
Right.
Because, yeah, the idea is that, a lot of these kids are really having problems with things that go beyond hyperactivity and inattention. And one of the problems in the United States is that we got so many kids being over-medicated with this psychiatric medication. And if you're a poor kid in the United States, you're a lot more likely to be medicated with this stuff than if you're lucky enough to come from a wealthy family.
Well, that's easy to say, Doctor, but do we have hard numbers?
Well, I think that the numbers are coming in, and I think that what it's all about, the reason for that is that if you come from a wealthy family, there's a good chance you either go to a private school or at the very least your family has access to expensive doctors who can give you the kind of information and guidance that maybe limit the amount of medicine that you're on, or
yes, but Dr. Cox, I understand that, if I may interrupt, but isn't that just survival of the fittest? Shouldn't the most wealthy of the families be the ones that really do get... I mean, the world needs ditch diggers too,
Well, I certainly hope that's not the case. And let me tell you, to be honest, I was one of these expensive doctors for a lot of years, and I just got sick and tired of the double standard in children's health care. I get sick and tired of seeing so many kids unnecessarily on this medicine when there were things that schools and families could do to help these kids get their brains wired in the right direction.
So, Adam... is it really possible to immunize a child or teenager for STD?
I really have no idea if it's possible to immunize a teenager for
immunize. What's that word again?
Immunization?
Immunization.
Yeah,
right.
immunization. You might remember it from way back when you got a shot when you were a kid.
Sure.
But the deal is that there are things that you can do. It's like, it's like a parent or a teacher is the conductor of an orchestra. There are ways that we can intervene with kids to actually rewire their brains to limit the extent to which they have these problems with focus, with problems with self-control.
Adam, if I may, not to interrupt, I don't like to, but it sounds good, but I have to take issue with you here. If you have, again, our experiences may be different. Page 148, I call your attention to. Emotional obstacles to living the considered life. Now, you say here some kids have trouble applying the skills they possess in high-profile situations, performing in public. And the example you give, Adam, if I may, Moira finds an excuse to drop out of a play at the time, last minute, because she hasn't learned her lines.
Right.
Yet she knows the lyrics of approximately 200 songs by heart. Eric is halfway through his college application but hasn't written his essay on time to apply to his top school. Eric says he forgot to check the deadline, and besides, their football team stinks. Elaborate, if you would.
Well, the deal there is that a lot of kids have anxiety and they freeze up at moments when they really got to perform. Hey, guys like you don't understand that because you guys are so good at this.
Exactly, and from wealthier families.
Yes.
What's that?
And from wealthier families.
Everyone at this table.
I have noticed people from wealthier families are just a nicer... people to hang around with.
And shouldn't we, I mean, if it's going to make a ditch digger, just like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Yes.
You know what? Medicate the dumb. If they're if that's their lot in life is to pump my gas, why not give them pills that make him
happy doing just that?
Do you want their brains rewired so they're hyper aware of their lowly lot on this planet for 70 years?
Doctor, what do you think about giving drugs to people just to make them happy in their misery?
Like the same way beer makes a baseball game good, should we not give them drugs that will make a life of servitude?
Dr. Stanhope's making a good point here, sir.
Well, Well, I think that the critical issue is that no matter what your job is in life, you want to have a sense of confidence and a sense of, that you have found your way and you're feeling satisfied with what you're doing. So, the medicine is not necessarily always a bad thing, but the point is that there's a lot of ways that are healthier to get to that same point of feeling like you can focus, of feeling like you can perform up to your ability without being dependent upon that medicine.
So, but you're saying sometimes the medicine is okay.
Yeah, I think it's
you're
ridiculous.
being glib. You're just being glib.
Demonizing medicine is like, not a good idea because medicine helps some people, and I make that point in the book as well. It's just that if we do things for kids before they reach that critical age, and guys, it's age 12, and let's be also clear that it's boys that are the target of this because boys get diagnosed with these problems 4 or 5 times more frequently than do girls.
Well, that's because women are really still second-class human beings. Men are still the people getting stuff done. If a girl's not concentrating, all she needs to concentrate on is feeding a baby.
Hey, let me tell you that one of the big things that science has contributed to understanding why boys are on this medicine is that if you look at the brain of a boy while he's paying attention in class, it's doing fine when someone's talking directly to him. And
why would you look at the brain of a girl? Who cares?
Well, girls have a knack for listening so much better tan do boys, and it makes a huge difference in terms of how they perform in school.
Interesting. Why is that? I don't even see how that could be. Aren't we all the same?
Imagine it this way, guys, and it's not just listening, but it's memory.
Right.
If you had to give somebody a list of 12 items that you wanted to get at the grocery store, would you rather that person be male or female?
It didn't matter as long as they didn't have Down syndrome.
Well, that could be true.
If that person's female, they're going to do a much better job of remembering because we guys remember almost only things that are important to us as individuals. So we guys are like computers for sports scores, all this kind of, our favorite snack foods, but it's a problem in school.
So if we're going to the tranny store, you send Jim Norton.
Yeah. Dr. Cox, we got a lot of parents listening to our show right now. Let's get to the very important question here from your book. What should parents do if their child's teacher or family doctor says the child has an STD?
Well, it's not an STD. It's ADHD that we're talking about. And if somebody says that your child has ADHD, the first thing you should get...
Wait, ADHD,
guys.
Oh, what's that?
Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder.
Oh, that makes this a little different.
You might have heard of it. It's been in the news a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
What has?
The first thing you should do is get a professional evaluation because some kids have food allergies or a learning problem or something else.
And that can make them seem stupid.
And the second thing you should do is make it easier for kids to focus and remember. Like if they're in a classroom where there's a lot of distraction, if they're near a window, if they don't hear, if they're having some other kind of problem, you got to make sure that these kids have some way to focus that's easier for them.
Doctor, I understand, but what about a good old-fashioned, raised in the 50s and 60s, smack in the face?
Absolutely a bad idea.
Why?
Because,
Let me tell you something. I know how I was raised. I know how generations of people were raised in this country. It was called discipline. It was called getting the strap. It was called getting a backhand across the face if you didn't shut up. If you were hyperactive or had attention deficit. Let me tell you, if my attention wasn't on something that it was supposed to be, I got a smack across my face. All of a sudden, I'm paying attention to what I was supposed to pay attention to.
It's called discipline.
Doctor, discipline. Comment?
Yeah, you were discipline counts, but here's the thing.
Oh,
all the time, we
shut it.
moralize about these problems.
Yes.
And we say, hey, this kid isn't trying hard enough. He doesn't care enough. He doesn't feel it, deep enough. And it's baloney because the problem is that he's got a brain problem. And if we don't do something to help his brain work in an optimal way, all the discipline in the world, that's going to scare him. You may contain him for a few minutes, but you're not going to get him
Let me
to
tell
really
you,
improve.
About the brain, my dad got to mine by having it shaken up against my skull a few times. And I seem to be a normal fucking guy.
I guess the jury's still out on that.
Well,
hey, you want to take a few?
Come on now. Let's keep it fair. Let's keep it fair.
If you only knew, Doc. Can you take a few calls from our listeners?
I'd be happy to.
All right. We got Mike in Houston. You're on with Dr. What's your
Dr. Cox.
Adam Cox.
Oh, Adam Cox. I forgot. I'm sorry. Mike, go ahead.
So the next.
Yeah, I thought I want to talk to the large Dr. Cox. I got this problem. I go to a public toilet and I freeze up, and as soon as I get out, I shit myself, and it's so embarrassing. And I just wonder if it has anything to do with my dad peed in my mouth a couple of times when I was little.
Oh, that's not a real question.
Man, boy, I don't know. I think that's a complex problem that can't be unraveled on the air in just a few short minutes.
I think we were just goofed. I think we were just goofed.
Sorry, I believe we were goofed there.
I think that was one of those listeners of one of those shock jock stations.
I apologize.
Let's go to Barry in Seattle.
Hey, Doc Cox. I have a chubby little son named Eric, and I want to know if STDs play a role in his diet as far as eating mayonnaise a lot than his thinner brother.
Again, that goes beyond my expertise because I'm a psychologist. I know about ADHD, but not STDs.
ADHD he was talking about with his little fat kid, Eric.
What's ADHD?
ADHD is the virus that causes STDs.
Right.
Oh.
Is it?
That's a link I'm unaware of, but I suppose there's a possibility.
What is the ADHD? What is that?
Advanced Human Immune...
Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder.
Didn't it just used to be called ADD?
Yeah, but we've done away with that term now. The American Psychiatric Association now just uses this term ADHD, and it basically uses that as the term to describe people who are just inattentive, as well as those people that are not only have trouble focusing, but also are
the American Psychiatrics. Why would you listen to a group of crazy people and what they say?
Exactly.
On the phone, we got Paul. Paul, you got a question for Dr. Cox?
Hello, Dr. Cox. Doctor?
Hi.
How do you feel about spanking a child? Like you pull down their trousers and you slide down their underpants and you put them over in your lap and you give them a good spanking.
It's a bad idea generally to spank kids.
But it feels good.
It humiliates them, and usually it's boys that end up getting spanked. And one of the worst things we can do with young kids is humiliate them.
But we all got spanked as children, Doc.
Sure.
Well, sometimes you give a very young child a short, light spank when they're going to do something that run out into the street where they could really be at risk. But when we spank kids that get older than 3 or 4 years old, and we do it in a punitive way, and we humiliate them, and unfortunately, we grow up to resent the people that spanked us.
Did the senior Mr. Cox spank you, Doctor?
I think when I was a very young child, I probably got a couple of spankings.
And you grew up to be a successful psychiatrist. Are you a psychiatrist or psychologist?
A psychologist.
So you can't prescribe any drugs, right?
That's right.
Oh, damn. All right. We really don't need to continue with this call. I was hoping to get a contact. I'm teasing, of course. The humor is part of the program. Dr. Cox, ADHD. What does that stand for?
Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder.
I got an observation here. It seems like you know a lot about this subject. What are you going to do with all this info?
Well, what I've been on is a crusade across the United States talking to schools and families, communities, about how we can intervene
now,
with
when you say
kids.
crusade, are you trying to wipe out Muslims?
No. My crusade is against a pharmaceutical industry that has committed itself to over-medicating kids.
Why travel the country when you could write a book on the subject?
Well, I've decided to do both, so it's really working out well.
Hold on, Dr. Cox.
Wait, he's got a book on the subject.
Oh, cool. I think he's working on it.
I just want to make sure we get this out.
On the book?
You're working on a book as well, Dr. Cox?
The book is out. You've got it there. No Mind Left Behind.
Oh, this?
And the 8 essential brain skills every child needs to thrive. Hey, and by the way, guys, if somebody actually wanted to find out what these 8 brain skills were and whether their kids were up to snuff or not, on my website, dradamcox.com, DRADAMCOX.com, there's a checklist. You can check it out and find out for yourself if your child might be having a problem with one of these 8 skills.
Yeah, and if they are you suggesting that we try to raise super kids?
No, I'm so glad you asked me that because sometimes people say, are we trying to raise these kids who are super productive and super efficient? Well, not really, but if we don't try
What's
to
the number one reason these kids are prescribed medication?
Is because they have behavior problems.
And how should someone handle a teacher who insists a child should be on Ritalin?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, have you guys heard of the concept?
Are you suggesting we try to raise super kids?
What's that?
Are you suggesting we try to raise super kids?
I am not suggesting that.
Is it too late for teenagers? Can we still build their brains?
That's an interesting question.
We can still build their brains.
How should some teachers handle a teacher who insists a child should be on Ritalin? I believe that was asked earlier.
Gone through a bunch of things. But the main thing is to find out
Doctor,
exactly
if I may, what practical things could a parent do immediately to make a noticeable difference?
Caller, you're on the air.
Please answer in 30 seconds or less.
Well, some of the things...
When you're talking about building capable kids, what do you mean?
What I mean are kids that can focus.
Are you suggesting we try to raise super kids?
Hey... The bottom line is that...
Is ADHD a real problem? Why is it so common these days?
Well, it's common because
why do boys get diagnosed with STDs so much more frequently than girls do?
Right.
You know, it's very tough for kids to step up to the plate and perform.
I'll tell you who tried to raise super kids.
We tried to raise super
Hitler
kids?
in 1939 attempted to raise super kids the way you are.
You know, in the early mid-30s to begin with, and then the later 30s, there was a gentleman that was trying his own plan of raising super kids.
And if we hadn't a cock blocked him, he might have
you know who that was?
And maybe you can succeed too,
I think
Dr.
you know
Cox.
who that was, Dr. Cox. You know how that was?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, on page...
I wish everyone could be as successful as you guys, but some kids need a little bit of help.
Right.
Dr. Cox...
His name was Mitch Cumstein.
Dr. Cox, on page 205, it says...
Don't scan. Find where you want to be. Can these super kids leap over buildings in a single bound?
Right. But super kids are also kids that are super efficient, super productive.
You got it.
Yeah, perish the thought we have some of those.
Yeah.
Like tweakers.
What's that?
Yeah.
Super efficient and super productive, like tweakers.
We got a call coming in from Don the trucker. Don, you're on with
Dr. Cox.
Dr. Cox.
Good morning.
I have it here somewhere. It's Dr.
Hi, Don. You're on with the good doctor.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, doctor. I just wanted to know, doctor, are you actually endorsing withholding medication from children with STDs?
Oh.
Hello?
Oh. Well. That didn't go well. Oh.
What was he on about?
What did he have to say?
It wasn't being...
Never even got to his point.
That didn't go well.
What happened?
What happened to the caller? The caller, asked a real question, and he hung up.
Stumped the doctor.
Yes.
You know what? I don't think he'll ever finish his book if that's his attitude.
No.
Yeah.
He really seems to be a little lazy.
I know.
Sounds to me... I'm sorry.
No discipline. Go ahead.
Sounds to me like the old doc needs a dose of stick-to-itiveness.
Yes.
What
He
happened?
probably has ADD.
I'll say.
What's that?
Right.
I think it's AD. It's
HD TV.
HD TV.
Yes.
He's got high definition television.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, it takes your attention away from book writing.
Wow. That's right. Are you suggesting we try to raise super kids? How many fucking times? Oh, God. Fucking authors. We are just the worst, man.
Why did he hang up?
I don't know. He had it.
I'll tell you why. Because he was being stumped with some tough questions.
Yeah.
And they don't like to be called to task.
See, we put them to the test. We do. A lot of stations just gloss over these things, ask them the questions, they give the answers.
Sure.
We give them impossible questions that could never be answered.
Right.
All at the same time.
Right.
It was fun.
Right.
I actually stole that. I'll tell you where I got it from. Bob Kelly played a prank phone call for me one day. It's a guy pretending to be an older black gentleman, and he's calling up to have his VCR repaired. And the VCR guy is trying to talk to him over the phone. The guy keeps going, right. And he curses too much. The guy, this is like...
Let's bring it in.
That sounds funny.
It's before the Jerky Boys, I think. But the guy's like, and the motherfucking RCA VCR, and the guy would try explaining it, and the guy would go, right.
That sounds funny.
Oh, dude, it's a very funny prank call. If anybody out there might know who it is, that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
All right, we got this.
Now push your ass in my face and let me tongue fuck you.
Clean your cut out with my tongue before you wash it.
Yeah.
Right.
These are these clips from, it was actually called audio porn. Back in the 70s, they came out on 8-track. And you'd listen to these instead of watching porn. And it's not audio from a porn movie. They went into a studio and poorly did these.
Well, that's right. Phone sex. The 976 numbers you'd call, listen to the
remember
recorded
those?
stuff.
976.
Yeah, a telemarketing job where I just, dial for free. Put it on the company bill.
We used to go into the job trailers that when they're building a new development, the trailer is there for the job super and stuff. We'd go in there, pick up his phone, and just call sex lines. It must have been hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But it was before live stuff. It was all that recorded stuff.
This is recorded
I'm
from
Carmen, the anal queen.
And we're keeping track of all the really great lines from this.
The acting is horrid. This woman sounds like this. I can't believe you're fucking me.
Lick my
Yeah, lick my cunt. Like Mrs. Howell is getting bagged by the professor.
Organ music from the old radio shows.
Yeah.
The old radio serials. You're licking my pussy.
Yeah. Here we go.
Wonderful. Roll over, damn it.
Not on your life, baby. You left out the best part. Put your tongue up my asshole and start licking.
Start licking.
See?
Right. Come on, Gidget.
It's a man who means business.
Certainly does.
Right.
Dr. Cox calling back?
Well, what happened?
What happened, Dan?
It got dropped, right?
Oh, by who?
I love that.
What?
Yeah, I don't think he hung up.
Oh, what happened? Why don't we
try to get him back?
Yeah, let's get Dr. Cox back.
Bite me, fuck me, baby. Fuck me. Bite me and fuck me. Put your hands under my ass and shove your cock up into my belly. Oh, baby, you big baby.
I think that's a fantastic example of ADHD. Bite me, fuck me. Bite me, fuck me. She can't commit. She doesn't know. Put your hand under my ass. What do you want?
What do you want?
Do you medicate her so she just wants to be bitten? Or
bite me, fuck.
Hey, baby, this is heaven, lover. Oh, you sure as hell are a born cocksman. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a Foley guy there with 2 coconuts.
Hello?
Hello, is this O&A?
Hey, Dr. Cox.
No, this is... No. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
What happened?
I don't know. I think something happened on your end.
No,
who's this?
This is Dr. Adam Cox.
Oh, Dr. Adam Cox. Why are you calling the show today?
Well, you guys asked me to call you back.
We just talked to... Is that the guy we...
Who?
You were just talking to me. That's right. The book, No Mind Left Behind.
What?
No.
It's over by you.
No Mind Left Behind.
Oh, that's what's that book about?
It's a book about helping kids avoid this problem we call ADHD.
See, what you got to do is get another idea, because if you keep writing the same book over and over again,
we just talked to an author 10 minutes ago who had the same idea for a book.
Isn't that a coincidence?
It certainly is.
All right, so what can you tell us about this STD thing?
Well, you guys, I think by now we've established it's not STD.
No, it's HD TV, which is fantastic. You watch the game on it?
No.
No? It's clear as a bell. It's a wide screen, and you feel like you're right on the field.
Built for super kids.
Exactly. HD TV. Love it.
Hey, on page 261, why did you thank Morano Estroff?
Why did I thank her?
Exactly. Yeah.
She's an editor at Psychology Today who has done some good work.
Doctor, being a psychologist, how do you feel about testing pregnant mothers for the possibility of Down syndrome? I'm not kidding. I don't know why you're laughing at Down
As a
syndrome.
psychologist, I don't really have an opinion on that.
Why would you
guys.
laugh at Down syndrome? That's not funny.
Well, no, it's not funny. But
Why would you laugh at Down syndrome? I
Yeah,
don't know
they're
if we
talking
could
about
continue this
tests
conversation.
that can show if a child's going to have Down syndrome. And I'm wondering how you feel about that as somebody who's dealing with medications in children with learning disabilities.
I'm starting to get the feeling that you guys are like, the guys that I should have helped with my book many years ago because you're so distracted. You could have benefited from this stuff.
But if we could prevent these children from even entering the world, wouldn't that be preferable to you having to treat them and write books when you could be out having a nice time?
That would not be preferable.
I need a lot of help. What could you help me with?
Well, yeah.
Nature or nurture, doctor? Nature or nurture with this
it's always a combination of both, isn't it?
ADHD-wise. Do you think there could be a test in utero that we can see if there is, and then maybe, pull out that plum tomato before it grows into a burden?
Well, you'd never want to do that, but of course you're right, in that there may be a test one day that will then allow us to start helping these kids very early in their lives.
Perfect race.
So you're thinking of dropping a few Xanax into a vagina so the child can actually maybe have them before he comes out?
No, I wouldn't be thinking of that.
So you're saying that Planned Parenthood should have a dumpster full of Pete Rose wigs?
What I'm saying is that parents can do remarkable things if they start early enough.
Why are you laughing at that joke? That's horrific.
So you're saying that it is the parents' responsibility for the ADHD, and perhaps they're the problem?
I don't think that parents cause ADHD, of course not, but I think parents can do a whole lot to minimize the effect in a kid's life, and is nothing so bad as getting to 5th or 6th grade and not having had any help, and then suddenly you feel overwhelmed because that's the age when kids, especially boys, turn about 10 or 11, and they haven't had any help. They're in way over their heads because school gets very complicated by the time you get to 5th or 6th grade.
Now, how come some kids can hack it and others are slackers?
Well, that's just one of the differences. Why do some kids play football and some kids can't? I mean, it's just the way that we're all a little bit different.
Well, that's more physical.
Race,
more physical than mental. Yes, and race does come into play in certain aspects of that, but that's more a physical attribute than mental, sir. Doctor, I'm thinking it's all in the upbringing. I'm thinking, and is this predominantly an American disease?
That's a great question.
I know it is. I asked it.
It
Anthony.
is more of a problem in America, and the reason for that is that we live at a crazy pace. The pace of our culture is so hectic, and we push kids so hard to be productive, to be efficient, to be super kids, that a lot of these kids...
Are you suggesting we should try to raise super kids?
That's asked and answered, fellas.
When you raise this breed of the master race, what will the world look like in 100 years?
Good question.
I have no idea because I'm not involved in that plan.
Yeah, but because you're against raising super kids, we found that out.
That's right.
I just want to know, what would be the problem with a race of super children? Do you see kind of a children of the corn scenario?
Yeah, that's right, because it just escalates and there's no end to it, and I'm just afraid that, we would have a bunch of kind of, robots out there performing up to like some kind of super high expectation, and we would lose the flavor
Bobby
of childhood.
Fischer couldn't concentrate on his schoolwork because he was just playing chess all day, what would you medicate him with?
Great.
I don't know that I'd medicate him with anything.
All right, let's go to the phones. Matt from Queensbury.
Hi. I'm glad you got the doctor back on. I had a question for the doctor.
Yes. You're on with Dr.
Adam Cox.
Oh, hi, Doc.
Yes. Oh, hi, Adam.
I have
to the
a
program.
son. He's 8 years old. He's in 3rd grade this year, and some things he's really advanced on, and other things he's kind of more, average, middle of the road. And I'm pretty much okay with that. But it seems like you're suggesting that we should be building super kids, and I'm just wondering if that really falls into something I should be looking at.
Well, I certainly don't think you should be trying to raise a super kid, but you might want to give your son a little bit more
thanks for the question, Matt.
an edge.
Billy in Connecticut.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Cox.
Hello, Bill.
With perfecting all of these flaws with every children at such a young age, are you suggesting that we raise super kids?
Are we back from break yet? Oh, we're on the air. Okay.
Yeah. Super kids. Dr. Cox, comment?
Let's go to Chris in the Poconos. Chris?
Hey, guys. I'm very interested in this. I got a couple kids. Both of them have ADHD. And
Sorry to hear
I went
that,
to the
sir.
website, and it was appalling. It was drcox.com. It was nothing but porn.
Dr. Cox, comment, is there maybe a website that's close to your website? Because he's saying that... well, you got to think drcox.com would have a lot of Cox on it.
How did you spell Cox?
COX.com.
COX.
Lots of valuable, useful information for parents.
All right. I got it.
Especially you guys. You guys ought to be checking out my website because there's a ton there that can help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should have been really upfront about the spelling ahead of time.
Yeah, that would have helped. Dr. Cox, are you suggesting we raise a race of children that go to supercuts?
No, I'm not suggesting.
No? Yeah, bad haircuts there.
Right.
It's cheap, but there, it looks like a bowl was on their head.
Let's go to Jamie. You're on with...
Dr. Adam Crotch.
Jamie?
Hello? Yes.
You're on with...
Dr. Dix.
Hey, doctor, first of all, I want to ask you, how can you even use a fucking term like
Watch your language.
dropping a Xanax in somebody's vagina that's a child? And for all you pompous asses that think you know something about children, you got to have one before you know what's going on with children.
Which makes me kind of wonder, does anybody there have kids?
I do. I have three children.
Yeah,
I do.
exactly.
I do, Doc.
You fucking doctor, he fucking says something like that. What kind of fucking term is that?
Hey, language.
We understand if you have a disagreement with his...
yes.
But
I know a lot of people are upset about you suggesting that we raise super kids.
Yeah, and
it's...
Fuck you, man.
It's preposterous.
Fuck you.
And
how do you even use a term like that regarding a child?
Dr. Cox, language, please.
You saying you don't want to raise super kids?
I hung up on him. Doc, I do have 3 kids.
You do?
Yes, and only 1 out of the 3 has HD TV, so...
yeah.
We're talking about technology here, right?
How many children do you have, Dr. Dix?
I have 1.
Okay.
1 child, a perfect super child, I suppose.
So, Harry...
that would be great.
Harry.
His name is not Harry Cox. Stop it. Stop with the juvenile humor. Yes.
Can I help you?
Is Anita on the phone? Anita.
All right, we're on the air
is that,
in 3, 2,
sister,
1.
Anita.
And go. Anita Cox?
So, Black, is your book out now, or is it coming out?
The book is out. No Mind Left Behind.
Is it in libraries?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it at your local library. Frankly, I don't care where you get it, as long as you read it, because I want you to help your kids.
Well, yeah, I have a hard time reading because my mind jumps around a lot. Is there an audio book?
I got to ask the good doctor, if this book is about ADHD, right?
Yeah.
Why would you... How many pages is this thing? Why wouldn't you just, put a lot of information on the first 2 pages and keep the rest of them blank?
They just keep going back anyway.
Simplify.
I got to tell you, if someone had helped your parents with you guys, we wouldn't... This conversation would sound very different.
Isn't it the worst? I know.
What's wrong with this conversation?
Man,
right. We're getting
if
some
this
nice...
isn't distraction, I don't know what is.
We're getting
the doctor we talked to before you a few minutes back, that went quite smoothly, so maybe the onus is on you, sir.
Yeah, let's go to Jay in Philly. He's got a good question for...
Right.
Hey, guys.
Adam, that's
Dr.
right.
Cox have any kids of his own?
Yeah, he has 1, I believe.
Yeah, 1 child.
Oh, so he's raising...
No, he has 3 children.
No, he has 1.
Oh, that's you have 3.
Dr. Norton.
Oh, wait, no, I have children. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Dr. Norton has...
what?
3. Looking for a caller with... We have so many calls coming in with just
amazing.
fantastic
a lot of people
questions.
Want to talk about this. Wade in Minnesota. Wade, you're on with...
Yeah.
Wade,
you're on with...
doctor.
Doctor, I got a problem. I'm wondering if I might be a little ADHD because I'm trying to count the cars and that, and I keep we keep a good count of the cars, and every time I go through to try to count them, I come up a little bit short. And I got this plan, and I can't really put it together. Wondering if maybe going through the good doctor and maybe he might be able to prescribe something because I keep kind of going in different directions. Do I need a wood chipper?
It sounds like you may have a problem with distraction, or you may just have a problem with counting.
I think you are asking the question of the wrong person. You should be talking to a doctor. This is a writer we have on the phone that's written a book about doctors treating ADHD.
Yeah, so no. We keep good count of the cars. We got them.
Yeah.
We got them all.
Well, those are some sweet numbers.
So it's a hell of a plan there.
Have you always wanted to be a writer?
Yeah.
Have I always wanted to be a writer? Yes. No. For many years, I was an artist. I became a doctor by accident.
Oh, an artist, a painter or sculptor? What type of artist?
Yeah.
A painter.
What's your fascination with doctors?
No fascination with doctors.
Then what's your fascination with cocks?
When I was an artist, I ended up teaching young kids how to paint and draw. I came to the realization that was my calling. I work with kids, and I've spent my life trying to help kids become as good as they can be without putting them in a situation where
when did you realize you had the ADD?
I'm blessed. I don't have ADD.
Good. Thank God.
Then how can you possibly write about it?
Yeah, did you guys play the...
Well, because I spent over a decade working with kids that do have that problem.
Excuse me, lover of, is this your first book, or is this your second book?
Second book.
Oh, what was the first one about, sir?
It was called Boys of Few Words.
And that was about autism.
About boys who have trouble communicating and expressing themselves.
Oh, of course.
Not you guys.
No. I
grew up old school. My dad, if I had trouble communicating, he'd smack me in the head and say, "Get the cock out of your mouth and speak, motherfucker." And that's how do you react to that type of?
I think it seems to explain an awful lot.
That's a horrible thing that he should probably look into now that he's older, and perhaps you'd benefit from some type of psychiatry.
Eat a lotta.
Psychologist. Yeah.
Hey, Craves Unclipped, what would you say is the greatest mistake parents make?
That's a good question.
What would I say is the
greatest mistake? Yeah.
Wow, that's a big question. The biggest mistake they make about what?
About raising their children, of course, and doing things that will foster an attitude or an atmosphere that would be conducive with ADHD. But like, what is the best way, would you say, if somebody wants to kind of step in and circumvent that, like without it?
Well, the number one thing that they can do is to try to.
That question is brought to you by Sammy's Aluminum Siding. Sammy's Aluminum Siding, 423-3112.
Sorry, just had to get that in. Hey, ADHD or AD Blu-ray? What do you think the future holds?
Man, I don't even know what AD Blu-ray is.
Yeah, say it's like beta. Which is easier to treat, a 720p or a 1080i?
Again, I'm afraid I'm not an expert there, guys.
Thomas the Trucker, you got a question for...
Hello?
Hey, Thomas the Trucker.
You got a question for...
Dr. Adams.
Adam.
Doctor...
I heard Dr. Cox saying spanking's a bad idea. I was wondering if he had any other suggestions for discipline.
Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can discipline.
Would mouth-fucking work?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry?
My goodness.
You don't want to hear that, sir. That was obviously a prank caller. I'm really sorry
But he
about
did,
that. I don't know where these people come from.
I have noticed
sometimes.
a lot of drug commercials on, Doctor. Over the past 10 years or so, we just seem to be inundated with these drugs. Like, for the slightest problem, we're supposed to go ask our doctor about this. How do you feel about that?
I think you're right. I think that's an excellent point. That
Thank you.
We seem
Anthony
to
again.
become over-dependent upon medicine for all kinds of things, including when we kids have like a
Hey, baby, this is heaven, lover.
Exactly.
Oh, you sure as hell
That's how
are
I
a
feel.
born coxman.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it this way. Oh,
That's how I feel. If I would care about your answer if I just hadn't had so much Xanax today. But that's a good answer to a great question.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. Have you ever been on any type of psychiatric drugs?
Well, I'm not sure how that's relevant to our interview here today.
Oh, that's a yes. Because it would almost give some validity to the anti-drug stance you're taking.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is not what medicine you guys have taken or what medicine I may have taken, but the important thing is that young minds.
My child has what they call leukemia, and they try to push a lot of drugs on us, chemotherapy, radiation, and I say no. We're doing this all natural.
Right. It's a very different
herbal
situation.
teas.
It's a life-threatening situation, and you need to use. In that case, of course, medicine is going to be the best option. But what we're talking about, guys, what the book is about, are what we call options of first resort.
Options of first resort.
Right.
Now,
the medicine should be an option of last resort, and what I'm writing about are the options of first resort. What should you do before?
Tom in Westchester, you got
meds?
Gotcha.
Dancing with Gay Guys is on Springer.
Tom?
Hi, guys. Listen, I'm trying to raise a super kid.
Yep.
And he's 11 years old, 142 IQ. We went into the bedroom where he was supposed to be studying, and he says to us, he's in my wife's dress, he says, I like to wear nail polish and watch werewolf movies.
Isn't that young? I remember your call. His name is William, right?
His name is young William.
Yeah.
So what do? I tried my best, and he's wearing ladies' dresses. And
let him do as he pleases. Right, Doctor?
Yeah. All right, William, come on out, William. Come on, William, talk to the doctor. William, please.
Thank you.
I don't think William's queued up.
Doctor, are you a fan of Yellow Discipline?
I'm a fan of what?
Yellow Discipline for kids
I don't know
that are
what
suffering
that is,
from
guys.
ADHD.
Yeah.
I don't know what Yellow Discipline is.
Oh, okay.
A child that's afraid of monster rain, say. Where that's something he really should be taking part in.
True.
That freezes up right before the monster rain.
Yeah, that's not something I know anything about.
Another thing that. So you think these drug companies are making a big bucks off of our children when this could be treated in the home just by parenting and lessons that can be learned from your book?
Absolutely.
Now, the 5 things you must do if they say your child has STD.
I would say to the teacher, probably something, excuse my language, but I'd say bullshit. You're the one that's screwed up, and then I'd grab my kid by the arm and pull really hard and get him out of there, that school.
Yes.
Hey, let me ask you guys about this, because here's one of the 5 things you should do is you should be a coach rather than a boss. Everybody hates the voice of a boss, but people kind of like and respond to the voice of a coach. You know what I mean?
You know something? It's more of a boss is talk down to you. A coach or something is more talk you up.
Motivate you.
Right. And our boss
like to be
is a drunk.
Great. Yes, that's exactly the difference.
Yes.
And also
again, Anthony. My name's Anthony Cumia, by the way.
I like to think of myself as the Bobby Knight in my son's life.
Well, probably a bad coach to take an example of.
Well, it's effective.
You choke your kids.
Yeah, that's not what a coach does, but a coach can be very demanding. Hey, you guys watched football yesterday? There's a lot of very demanding coaches on
Certainly
TV.
did. Made a bundle.
They're hard on those players, but the players play up to their ability because they're not talking to them like they're a boss. They're not talking down to them.
Yeah, and they all shower together at the end, and that's what...
That's what made Bill Parcells great.
So shower with your children.
3
donuts
jokes over and over.
No, 3 jokes.
Line of the day is brought to you by BowDogFantasy.net.
Variations of the 3 same tired jokes for 40 minutes. No game plan, it shows. Let's try and wing it. Smash into a brick wall. 10:08.
Let's do line of the day. It's brought to you by BowDogFantasy.net.
Keep hoping for magic. Just shit this is. Questions handed to us last minute. Could have had them an hour before. We could have just changed them a little bit and had some fun. Fucking 5 dopes jumping over each other to say something obnoxious. We should all be shot. We should all be shot in the mouth with a shit gun. No fucking game plan whatsoever. It's a room full of fucking 10-year-old shit dicks trying to say naughty things to the doctor. Maybe this will bring us out of the fucking spiral that we've been in for an hour.
This is Dancing with Gays on both channels now.